And the bores. Morning, welcome back to Springfield Engine Works. I'm Jim. Working on our 302 here. Just going to check our main bore size, our cylinder bores, and we're going to take a look at the crank journals. So I've already checked to make sure that we didn't have any burrs and torque the main caps down. And we'll take a look at sizes, make sure they're still round and within size. Yeah, every block does them a little bit differently on how they hold them in there. Chevys sit on the rear main there, and the screen just hangs in the pump. Then Ford puts a little stud in there. Everybody's got a different little mounting system for the pickup screens there.
And so what are we doing?
So we're looking at just the housing size here to make sure that the housing is still round. Blocks over time, the metal settles, and if they've gotten overheated or a lot of high torque applications, they'll get a little twist and misshape the caps. So we're just looking here. This is about 2 thousandths oversized. So we'll trim the cap and refit those. The being oversized, I don't really worry too much about being out of round because they're going to have to get cut and resized. So all just a little bit oversized. Just a little bit smaller. That one's close to being acceptable, not quite though.
Okay, so you're gonna bore these out a little bit then.
Yeah, we'll trim the caps and probably align hone it. That'll only be in a couple thousandths. Take that out with the hone, just as easy. Also with the line honing, we make sure that these are all nice and straight. Sometimes these caps, either from the factory or when you trim them, will tilt just a tiny bit. And that makes sure that they're all in the same plane.
Got it. Okay.
So no major damage in this one. They actually look pretty decent. He could pop. So about 2 thousandths of wear.
So you measure the top and the bottom of the cylinder?
Yeah, we measure the top and the bottom to make sure that there's not a taper in the cylinder. And then we also look at it on the side here to make sure that they're not egg-shaped.
So egg-shaped's okay for your head, but not for cylinder head?
No, not good at all. It's about 2.5 at the top. About 1.5 down at the bottom. So that means there's about a 1/1000th taper from top to bottom, and we really want to be less than half. That one's about 2.5 at the top, and about 1 down at the bottom.
And
So just on those couple cylinders, we'll go through and check them all, just make sure there's not anything real crazy. About 2.5 here. So a little bit top, still.
Is there any kind of consistency when you measure engines, like a V8, Ford, 302, where's in this pattern? Is there kind of predictable patterns, or it's just who knows?
So not really by make, but by design. So V8 typically is going to wear more on the bottom side just because gravity's hanging there. So your inline fours and your sixes, any inline motors, will typically wear pretty even. You don't get much of that egg shape. With V8s, the weight of that piston is laying on the bottom side of the wall, so you pick up a little bit more wear there.
Gotcha. So gravity's coming into play a little bit there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we look at these have got enough taper and oversize that we're going to have to bore anyhow.
And how much will you bore?
So we always check availability on pistons. A lot of times with a stock motor, you end up going 30 over because 10s or 20s are not always available. We typically have got 30, 40, and 60 is available on oversize. That one's about 2 at the bottom and 2.5 at the top.
Thousands.
Yes, 2.5 thousand, yeah. Most of our conversations are in thousandths.
What's this device called that you're using to measure?
This is a bore gauge. So each of these divisions are 0.5 thousandths as we're looking at there. So sweep from here to 5 is 5 thousandths. And then little hashes in half there. So. Or 500ths for the...
Do you ever have to calibrate this device?
So we calibrate it every time we set it up.
Okay.
This little adjuster here, we've got a fixture that measures this and lets us set up for different bore sizes. So these little stems change out.
Okay.
We set them up in the gauge, and then we use a pair of micrometers. So just a veneer scale for those that read them.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're calibrated every time we set them up. When we change over to a new motor, before we use them, we'll We'll set them up in the gauge and then double check with a pair of mics.
And would that be Mike Simpson and Mike?
Micrometers.
Micrometers. I've never met micrometer.
And that one's right there, about 1,000th at the bottom. 1,000's oversized. And just a little over 2 at the top, so. What about tapering all of them? And we're at almost 3 at the top of this one. So. For the variance between all of the cylinders there, and fair taper in all of them. And that one's about a 0.5 thousandth out around. It's not hateful.